by the end of the season, not a single one of our main characters addresses the fact that the very thing everyone was trying to stop happened.
Oh, good.
Okay, I agree.
There you go. Okay,
we get.
Interesting.
I don't want to bat for the show at all, but I'm just saying we do get Sabine saying sorry for having caused this to happen with Thrawn, and then Ahsoka says, "I know," and that's it.
That was before, though, wasn't it?
It will, yeah, but the recognition of the consequence of Thrawn may very well escape now because he's got the potential to. Like that's still.
Yeah, but yes, but I don't believe Sabine's sorry.
Well, I was gonna move into saying that I thought that scene was fucking terrible. Like it's what an absolute crazy waste of conflict to just have all the characters be like, oh well.
No, it's okay.
No, well, you win some, you lose some, you live, you learn, life goes on.
Yeah.
Unless it doesn't, because Thrawn's back and he's gonna destroy us all.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
So is it stop Mauler? You don't buy that? What do you mean? The thing that happened? Like that's
he said the scene was shit.
But it did happen. I'm not going to take that away from the show. They had her say sorry, and Ahsoka said that's all right or whatever. Like that did happen. If they had never acknowledged it, I would have said it's much worse. But I was more shocked that like it actually managed to get through. I was half expecting none of the characters to say anything to Sabine.
Well, the fact that we went for a couple episodes there with nobody talking about it. But then remember, their conversation was cut short by an ambush. Oh no, wait, their conversation ended and then the ambush happened because that's the Dave Filoni signature. You know, can't be slow for too long. We need to get a fight in there.
It's that you're bringing it up even though it's nothing that defends the show. It does defend the show slightly. It
defends it a little bit.
It's important to be fair to point out that it was recognized. It's just really shittily. Which is still better than not recognizing it at all, which is exactly what Ezra did. I don't believe we had any line from Ezra about Thrawn, did we? And Sabine's responsibility on that. Something else I saw someone point out that was interesting in the comments for one of our coverages of it. It was like, did they seriously take a huge break in order to have Ezra build a lightsaber? When everything was hyper urgent? It's like, yes, they didn't even just have Hu Yang give him one, make him one quick. He's a robot.
Well, and also they were just going walking pace, just floating around.
Yep. Yeah, and if anyone wanted to say a Jedi has to build their own lightsabers, we're urgent right now, urgent. The things are happening.
But you're not Jedi because the order is.
That's another thing people say as well. So it just gets to the point where you're it's so fucking complicated.
Ahsoka is completely at peace, seemingly indifferent to the threat that the galaxy faces, despite the entire...
So I think what Filoni would tell you is that, no, she knows what she's got a job to do, but she is she's zen now. She doesn't stress out, she doesn't panic. She knows what's to be done, and she will do it. She's like Yoda. Even though Yoda showed a lot more anxiety in his later years than Ahsoka has at all, at least in this.
The entire motivation of her character has been to stop Thrawn since her introduction into the live-action stories. Then Hera and Ezra
she did a bad
meet
job.
up and neither exchanges a word about what his return means.
A lot of the characters barely talk at all. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It sucks.
When I watch The Lord of the Rings, I get this very clear sense that Frodo and Sam went to destroy the ring and Mount Doom and all that stuff, and all the scenes... You're like, oh, they're doing this because they're on their way to Mount Doom, where they have to do this so that they can get to Mount Doom. It's all in service to that actual goal. And there's a sense of passion and determination that goes along with that. But in this show, if you were to say, oh yeah, the scene where they're just sort of walking around or standing around or just sort of just meandering in this field, yeah, they're trying to stop Thrawn from destroying the galaxy or whatever. I'd be like, I don't believe you. How they don't get they're taking a break or walking or something.
Well, yeah, because
there's no sense of urgency at all.
There's 17 issues with the way Ezra arrives here, but another thing that sucks is his expression should just not be happy. I'm sorry, there's way too much negative, even though he gets to reunite with Hera. I understand that that's a positive, but can you imagine the amount of bad news he's about to tell them?
Well, why did it? Isn't it interesting? He didn't try to kill Thrawn, right? He just let him sort of escape.
Presumably he got onto a ship and left as soon as he could. We didn't see any of that, so yeah.
And decided that it wasn't worth taking a shot at Thrawn.
He had a lightsaber with him, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting that he was more willing to do it as a kid, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. That's I guess I would need to watch more of Rebels before I could make any more criticism of that.
Well, just tactical retreat or something.
Yeah.
The excitement these characters show to be reunited is important, of course, but
Excitement they show.
not at the cost of engaging with your story's own stakes.
True.
It would have been as easy as following up their tear-brimmed smiles with the dawning realization of what seeing each other truly meant, or even...
I don't even think, even the happy feels wholesomeness was kind of crap. They didn't, it felt like artificial.
I will hug you, and I will hug you as well.
I will now
this
giggle.
This is a symbol of my affection for you.
Yeah.
Initiating giggle procedures. Procedure
Ezra
complete.
pointing it out to Hera, who may not have realized that his return included the return of Thrawn.
And you could even have her recognizing that. She'd be like, wait, if you're here... And then he's like,
Thrawn.
you know, and he's just looking at her, and she's looking at him like they're both stern, because they both know what it means, instead of like, hee, hello, oh, yay.
Yeah.
Sabine, however, has made it abundantly clear that she's willing to sacrifice a whole galaxy if it means getting Ezra back home, so at least one person's reaction makes sense here. That's it.
Hers still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it makes sense.
She doesn't, I don't think that she...
Having her be the character that says, like, but, oh no, things aren't as great as they could be.
I think, you know, you point to, remember how she reacted when she saw that Ahsoka was alive, and remember how she reacted when Ezra was basically asking, like, what's happened, you know, where is Ahsoka? And she's just, it's just like, oh, it's complicated, and she just nods and says, yeah. It's like, dude, you think she's dead.
The only thing you can assume with that is that the actress genuinely wasn't, like, given the correct direction, because why would you portray her like that when she believes that she's not only lost, like, her mentor, but one of her best friends, one of the most important people in the world, who's trying to say, you know what I mean? It's just like, how could you possibly buy that that's what's being expressed there, as opposed to the actress being like, yeah, she's fine, she'll be back.
Because I was profoundly unimpressed by Sabine's actress, but even she would be able to distinguish between, like, normalness and sadness.
This is what I mean about portrayed. That's why I said direction, yeah, because, like, it's no way this actress is unable to look sad. Like, I'm pretty sure most people can pull it off, even Gal Gadot. If you just you like look down and be like, just don't say a thing. There you go, you've nailed it.
Just end there. Why? Well, because we're either setting up Dave Filoni's movie or Ahsoka Season 2.
I love how that's just everyone's assumption at this point. Like, that's how bad it's gotten, Disney. Nobody believes, like, that you're doing this for any other reason than trying to sell something else.
Which, you know, Ahsoka Season 2, is that a likely prospect?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, and remember, didn't Bob Iger say that they're gonna be cutting
well,
back costs on these productions as
imagine
well,
all of the catastrophic results of the recent stuff with Marvel, and you walk from Marvel as like a big ol' up top person for Disney, walk into the studios for like the live action stuff, and you're like, good god, this is a fucking circus on fire. Everybody's running around screaming, and this just nobody likes what we're doing, and good god, okay,
there's some passion.
You guys do you. I'm gonna go check out Star Wars. It's like, oh, how's Mandalorian Season 3? Yeah, how we doing? It's like, numbers aren't great. It's like, okay, Ahsoka, numbers aren't great.
It's like, the numbers are worse, actually, for that one. Yeah, it's not great. It's like, how much money do we spend on this? Oh, well over $100 million. Maybe closer to $200 million.
Just wait.
Each?
Oh.
And we'll get Ahsoka teaming up with Simba, teaming up with Iron Man to reignite all of the franchises.
What do you think they can actually... Because now we've got the projections for the Marvels ain't great. They're pretty low.
Panicking. They are panicking, for sure. Especially with the actors and writers strikes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The absolute chunks getting taken out of Hollywood right now is crazy.
Well,
I have a feeling that in like 50 years from now, this era will be looked back on as like where Hollywood had to make enormous, like significant changes.
Something has to change, because you can't be spending over $200 million on a movie with your long-term domestic projections at like $120 to $150 million.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Or I think it might have been a little... What was it? I think the top end was like $180 million domestic for the Marvels, which I think is lower than Ant-Man got.
I think there's
the key is they need to find someone who can write stories that are exciting like with good fighting sequences, but have good characters. Because good characters alone ain't selling it to Star Wars fans. Because they've just been, they've been conditioned.
They need the spectacle, which I understand and I'm okay with.
Yeah,
like having a spectacle.
Something I struggle with is I don't know that these. I've said this so many times, but I'm becoming more and more certain of it. It's like I don't think they can accurately diagnose the problems that they have. There was that recent news now where Marvel's basically admitted, yeah, we have problems on our TV side. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, no, true. But then I listen to that. It's like, oh, on the TV side, yeah? On the TV side, with the implication that the movie side is doing okay, you know?
Doing just fine.
And the last hit was Guardians 3?
Well, so Guardians 3... Because, yeah, Secret Invasion did not... I think Loki's viewership is okay. Like, that one has done better.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see what its long-term is. But Guardians 3 was successful. But Guardians 3's opening was under. And I think it's still kind of like... It was a success, but it's like you know?
Well,
like
it has to be recognized...
Maybe it should have done better than that, you know?
It has to be recognized by the higher-ups. Guardians 3 was not made the same way that those others are getting made. No, James Gunn would have been given a lot of power.
And also,
it shows.
You know, it has more of a meta sense that people know that this is kind of different than the other Marvel films. Whereas I think the Marvels will sort of be, again, more of an accurate test of, like, what exactly is people's interest in a generic Marvel movie.
Well, from what we can...
really standard Marvel movie.
What we can gather from the eras, the Marvels has been created in the same way Quantumania was, in the same way MOM was, in the same way a lot of them have been.
The division between Phase 4 and 5 just doesn't mean anything if you're making things the same way.
It's it'll be still a few films from now before they're going to try a different formula, because they're trying a different formula soon with TV shows, right? It may bleed into films at some point.
So here's the thing, though. Apparently, Disney still wants to keep their release dates for, like, Deadpool 3, which is meant to come out in May, and they haven't finished shooting it yet. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, man. Like, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna, like, try to get that one out on time? Like, really? You're gonna keep that date? And I think, and it's because, you know, the aspects of the business that people don't think about as much, which is they got shareholders to appease, and when you push your movies out of, you know, it's like that's money that you're not making this year.
That's the thing we read recently about Lords of the Fallen, like, got fucking crippled by the fact that they had to, you know, appease certain contract/stockholders and then also move it to a superior engine, quote unquote, and like it's given the game all of these launch problems that the fucking dev team are like scrambling over.
Well, and you know, it's Cyberpunk. It's something. It's an often not known thing. I'm pretty sure that in 2020, because Cyberpunk 2077 that came out in 2020, right? I'm pretty sure at some point in 2020. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think CD Projekt was actually like the largest company in Poland based on its market cap. I think that's the case when that game was coming out. And it's like, yeah, those kinds of pressures are going to influence, you know, whether or not a game's getting delayed or not. Because when you delay the game, you know, the stock price goes down, right? People get a little bit antsy. And it's like, yeah, these are the kinds of things that can influence the decision-making.
Yeah, and they're not going away. These things will be there forever.
No, these sorts of pressures will always be there.